Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're going to work on a scrapbook page. My friends Mike and Deb finally got into their house that started building, nearly a year ago. And due to the COVID and all that stuff, there was delay after delay after delay. And the day they went and closed on their house, I met them with some flowers and stuff. So here they are. The first picture in their new house, and they have this picture too, but I wanted to do a scrapbook page with it. I'm using a sketch from a blog called Scrappy Sketches. I'll insert a picture of the sketch about here. And I will link to it in the description also. So let's get started. I cut some stuff out of the silhouette. Look at that. Oh, I chose some paper. This pattern paper, it is from Joann's, I think, but I cut the strip off, so I must have used some of it, so I'm not sure who the manufacturer is. I have my flowers, some die cuts, butterflies, some hearts. My initial thought was to use this as the base page, but I think it's going to be a little too much. So, I think I'm going to use this cream color as my base page. And then I'm going to cut a little bit of this to go on. And the sketch calls for another circle, and I thought about cutting it out of this, because this is a nice dark green. I think I'll do that. We'll cut a circle out of this. And we're going to cut a little bit of this down because I do want some of this on it. This is such pretty paper. So let me move some things here. I got my dewdrops ready and my sequins ready, flowers, and a bit of die cuts. We'll cut a circle out of this guy right here. Have my circle cut, and it has this heart on it, and I'm just going to cut that off because I don't need it right now. Maybe save it for something for later. And then I cut a few little hearts out of that same green. And what I wanted to do, I'm going to move this guy out of the way, with this was put some white behind a few of the flowers. So I'm just lightly going around with a pencil, and I'm just going to chop them out and then just glue them behind. So let's do that. Get these cut. Where's my paper scissors at? Yes, these. So I just lightly trace around it with a pencil. I'll show you one. And these don't have to be perfect because it's just backing, just to fill in a little bit, put a little bit of white space. As long as it fits it, you don't see gaps, that's enough for me. So see, we'll put this back here. And actually I'll need to trim it, but I'm gonna go ahead and stick it down and then I'll trim it. Let's see. This bottle is finally almost empty, so it hasn't been behaving. We're gonna see if it's gonna work for me today or not. Make a little room here. So this guy, oh, it's gonna work all right. And then we'll just put this on here and I'll cut off any excess. Because I'm not real precise when I do this. I just get it to fit, and then if I gotta trim a little bit, I'll trim a little bit. I'm fine with that. And then this I had already trimmed around while the silhouette was cutting for this, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it was this one. I'm not sure which way I had it positioned, but I'm going to trim it down. Cut, cut, cut. And then, let's see. Because I just want this rose to have some white behind it, not anything else. I don't know if you guys can hear Sam, but he's in the living room and he just grumbled and groaned. So, right about there should do it. And I'll mark it again and trim it off a little more. Pretty much okay the other way, so just trim this off a little. And lay it behind there again. Let's see. Find a little placement. Okay, so this. Ha, 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 ha. Got it. Okay. I don't know why there's fuzz in there. Oh, it's adhesive. I don't know why there's adhesive in there either. Okay, so we're gonna put some glue on this guy. It doesn't have to be perfect, just enough to get the paper and hang on. And put it back there. And hold it down for a sec. All right. Okay, so it's that little spot right there. And once that glue dries, I can cut that. Let's see, do I want to do any more? Maybe I want to do all three of these buds over here. What do you think? So this is, you know, not any fancy way to do it, but you know what? It works for me, so that's just what I do. I think you guys have figured out by now I'm not very fancy. And that's okay. There's plenty of fancy people out there. So I don't have to be fancy. They do it for me. Then we'll cut this. And put it back there. Yep. See, and then I can just trim off a little bit after it's set. I like it. Turn it around. Hold it for a second. And then we can do number 3. Sam, quiet. Sam's gearing up to bark. I can hear it. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I can hear it. And then in there. Da, 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 da. Some nice textured cardstock in behind there. I think that'll look nice. A little gluey glue. Now this Like I said, I cut it on the silhouette. And I did heavy cover stock setting on 6 or 7 because I don't know if my blade is getting dull or if my silhouette just dislikes me, but it hasn't really been cutting all that great lately, so I had to amp it up. Yeah, I think that's enough. So I'm gonna put that aside, let that dry a little bit so I can trim. And then we'll put the lid on this glue. Get some scraps out of the way. Get my glasses back on because now I need them. So base page is this cream color. We can get our circle on. I'm gonna go about here. And I think I'm out of my small tape runner. So do I want to stick wing it? Or I guess I could just use this stuff, couldn't I? Okay, put this on. See, it's almost out. I've been wanting to jam up. There must be a little hunk of glue floating around in there. There we go. That's good enough for that. And we're gonna put this here. Yep. I love that green. And this is coordinations paper, so I could have sanded it a little bit. Ooh, I still could, couldn't I? I got base paper's coordinations paper too. Yeah, I'm gonna go get my little sanding block. We're gonna sand it a little bit. Just a little. See, look at that. Isn't that awesome? And you can run it through your embossing folders and then sand it, and it's such a pretty paper. Lovely. It's been a while since I played with some coordination paper. I used to play with it a lot, you know, back 10 years ago. Ah, see, look at that. Just adds a little something. Okay, I think that's enough sanding. It's gonna go. Oh, I gotta do some trimming before she goes anywhere, don't I? Okay. Come on. Thank you. And then right here. All right, now the decision is just going to be placement, because the photo is going to go about here. It's going to be matted. So if I do this, we're going to lose our white flower, but I could cut it off and then add it, couldn't I? Because this is going to be, it's going to be up a little more like this, I think. Sam disagrees, apparently. Okay, so I think we're going to do that. We're going to do a little deconstruction here. And cut. I'll get my glasses off again. Cut this. See, don't be afraid to cut stuff up. I'm not. Do this like this. And then what I'm going to do is layer this over here. Yeah. Okay, so I don't I want these leaves though. I'm gonna cut them off. Oops. And there. And there. Yeah. Okay. Oh look, now I can trim that back there. And then we'll trim this off. I think I want to keep this flower. And this leaf. There, look at that. Sweet. Oh, look how pretty. So Mike and Deb will go up about here. And there's gonna be a strip. I think I'll put, yeah, a strip and a bow. Ooh, ribbon. Ribbon down here. Okay, so let's glue this down. Set that away. Uh-oh, there goes my lid. Rolling under the silhouette. I'm just going to tack this down in a few spots because there's going to be other stuff going on top of it that's going to help hold it down. So I'm not too worried about it, you know, going anywhere or anything. There, there, there. Yeah, so do this right about like this. Oh yeah. Okay. And we'll just hold it for a sec. Let it grab. Doesn't need to grab a lot. And then I don't know if I want to put this on yet or save it till after I have the photo on because I have thoughts. I have thoughts, y'all. Thoughts. My husband always says, quit thinking. He says it gets him in trouble. Okay, so their photo is going to go about here like this. The Madam on White. Yes, I think so. I need the big gun for that. I want some of that green paper in here, so I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do that. Incorporate that in. And get them on some white paper. I'll trim it down, and then I'll cut it down in the paper trimmer. My friends. Yeah, see, I think that bottom one's crooked. I don't know how I do it. Let me get it down at this end where I can see better. Yeah. I just can't. Listen, I go to the eye doctor Monday. And I'm like, help. I had the eye doctor I went to for years. I finally did I ended up going somewhere else because when I called to make an appointment, the girl on the phone was like, oh no, we can't take your insurance. All right, fine. Been coming here for 11 years. My insurance hasn't, I mean, I guess it could have changed a little bit, but had the same insurance for 11 years. And so I go somewhere else. And I just totally wrecked that, you guys. And the lady prescribes me the bifocal, you know, so I get the progressives. And they don't work. I can't find it. Like, my eyeballs legit cannot find it. So I take them back to who I used to go to. And I was like, listen, I just need you to check these and tell me if there is actually the bifocal in there because it don't work. So he checked them and he's like, yep, it's there. And he says, I don't under, he was a little irritated with me. He's like, why didn't you come see me? I said, well, listen, I tried. And the girl who answered the phone said, you could not see me anymore with my insurance. Like if I wanted to pay, but why would I pay for the eye exam if I had insurance, right? And he was not a happy camper. So he said, yes, it's there, but my eyes, you guys, my eyes are so jacked up. I've had surgery on my right eye twice. Once as a little kid, like when I was 3, and once in my 20s for lazy eye. And when I got it in my 20s, all it did was take the left eye off. So now they compete to see who can swim around and freak people out the most. And on top of that, one's nearsighted and one's farsighted. So, you know, he's like, the only way I think a bifocal is going to work for you is if you have a line bifocal so that your eyes have something to focus on, to get them both to focus. And I'm like, oh, crap. Listen, I do not want a line bifocal. So I just, you know, I take my glasses off to read, but then I have to find a certain spot, and it's a whole thing. So, all that to say, I'm hoping maybe when I go this time that, I don't know what I'll do, that maybe they can find me a solution. Even if getting LASIK like on one eye maybe would help, that's fine. Because I'm not having eye surgery again. There's going to have to be, listen, I'm just going to have crazy eyes because, you know, 2 eye surgeries on that one eye. And then I had, you know, they've been all up in my face to get into my brain from having the stroke and stuff. And, you know, I'm just a mess. So, yeah. I don't know where I was going with all that, except to say that my eyes are terrible. So when I say I have a crooked eye, I ain't joking. So Monday, go see a different eye doctor. I'm actually going to, because I've since moved, I can't see that guy anywhere anyway. And a couple of like kind of cheapo places I've tried here I haven't liked. So I'm going to the Eye Institute and complain to them. Let's see if maybe an actual doctor can help a homie out. Okay. Oh yeah, see, isn't that pretty? Oh, such pretty paper. See, look, some of that behind there would be pretty. I was afraid if I use this though as the base page, it would be a little too much. And I do think it would have been a little too much, so it was the right call. These in particular are Dilution Stamp. But I like to, you know, if I got the stuff out, might as well make another one, a couple more, have some hanging around. So that's what I did. And I actually have a few just leaves from something else that I could use in there. Oh yeah, I think we're gonna add those. I don't necessarily want the blue, but the green. And then what else is in the bin of die cuts? See, we have more green, that green. Ooh, that green. Some different shades of green in there. Yes. And then flowers. What do we got for flowers? We got that guy. I don't really care for any of those for this page. Maybe these though. Let's see. These in this baggie are from Spellbinders. It's a cute little set. I don't know, that's all blue though. No. Might just use actual flowers. Maybe I want to put some black behind them. Do I want to put some black behind them? Yeah, I could, because Michael's got his sunglasses on, and that's black. Sorry for my reach. I'm going to get this lid before this starts drying out on me again. And I'm going to put this right in the middle here because I want to try and have a bigger, see if I give myself enough room for a bigger border. Of black. Ooh, I might have. Let's see. Let's see. This one. Oh yeah. Over a little bit. Mike and Deb. They're some of my favorite people on the planet. Oh, I did give myself an effort. Very excited. Very old school photo, I feel like. This off to the side here because you know I boxed myself in. I think we all do that. I'm gonna put them about here. Yeah, okay. And I'm only putting adhesive kind of in the center because if I want to tuck anything underneath, you know, flowers and stuff, then I'm gonna leave myself space to do that. Yeah. Okay. Be straight, straightish. See, because I think I'd like to tuck this in there. Look at. I remember back when sketches were first becoming like a thing, you know, the discussions we used to have at the scrapbook store I worked at about whether or not it was cheating and all this stuff. And I used to kind of feel like it was cheating, I think, but I realized that a jumping off point doesn't hurt. And oftentimes, I don't know about you guys, but for me, oftentimes what I end up with doesn't look anything like the sketch that I started with in the first place. So it doesn't, yeah. It doesn't, I don't feel like it's a horrible thing to use a sketch. So look at that. Completely unplanned. And this one maybe just part of it. Yeah. I tuck this behind the black part. There we go. Hold that down for a sec. Coming along nicely. Okay, then we see I have a couple of these leaves are from a Wendy Vecchi set. But they were leftovers from something and I loved them, so. Listen, if I like the way something comes out, I am totally keeping and using the leftovers. I'm going ahead and put flowers and stuff here because I'm not going to put that journaling spot here that the sketch called for. Because I don't, like I said, this is not something that really requires journaling. So we're just going to leave that out. There we go. Oh, look. Look at Mike and Deb. Aren't they cute? They are precious. Okay. I'm going to trim a little more of this. there. And I'll try to remember to link in the description this Dylusion stamp set if it's still available, because it's a good one. I get a lot of mileage out of it. Let's see, we're going to separate these two leaves, I think. Add that one in there. There we go. So there's a 3. As you know, 3 is the magic number when you're doing artsy art and stuff like that. And we'll try on this one. And we'll save that. When I still have these, but I might not end up using them. I think I've said this before, when you get your die cutter out, especially your electronic one, cut a whole bunch of stuff at once, not just the thing you want, because it's kind of a hassle, right? So get everything out of it that you can. Okay, now we still have these if we decide to use them. And see, look, I love that these are kind of dimensional because they were a little curled from being wet. So, you know, ended up standing out a little bit. Let's see what we have for butterflies here. I don't think I have any big black ones, do I? I got white. The white, I have a little black one. Maybe I'm not going to use the butterfly. I don't think I'm gonna. Again, something the sketch called for, but I don't need it. Okay, so there's that. Get him out of the way. I am going to use hearts though, because you know me. I like my hearts. They make me happy. Okay, so if we do a black one, a big one up there, and then I do 3, right? And then this little one. So you can pull some of, but I should sand it, right? Try to do it without sanding your fingernails though. Ha. Oh, see, isn't that? Yes. Oh, it's so nice. Okay. I don't think we're going to use this kid. And I don't think we're going to use that one either. So I just have this one little leafy leaf left. Where do I want it? I kind of want to use it. Just, yeah, right there. How about that? Let it poke out right there. There we go. Okay, so let's glue some stuff down up here. A little cluster up here in the corner. Which in the sketch, I'm not looking at the sketch right now, but I think they have like a tag and a, ticket or something like that. Which I totally could have done some tickets, but I wanted hearts. And then for that little green one, I'm going to pop it. Boom, dot that. Tape, foam dot. There we go. Aw. And then we'll put a heart over here. And then sand this one off. There we go. Oops. Maybe put him here. And let's see. Well, maybe I want to use this teeny one, but oh my lord, how am I going to sand it? That's not the easiest thing. Okay. Oh, there we go. How about put you right here because you're so tiny and cute. Yep. Okay, now I want to add dewdrops to this page. Oh, I can get my tidy tray out. Let's put some in the lid of the container. There's some green ones and some brown ones. Ooh, maybe some black ones. I have to get the other thing out. All right. And sorry for my arm. Need my doohickey. And we're just gonna put some dewdrops in. I don't know. I just think they are a great little finishing touch, you know? That one keeps wanting to slide. Stay. Stay, puppy. Okay. And then this one. How about here? And then we'll do a green one. Out there. Let's see, I want to leave some space right here, I think, for the title. And I think it's just going to say home. Maybe you should say finally home. Yeah, I took my dewdrops out of their, most of them, out of their jars and put them in these guys because I was running out of space. You know, I have a small craft room and I was running out of space. So just moved them, started putting them together. How about one here? There. Look how pretty they are. I just love them. Used to use them a lot, a long time ago, and I kind of forgot about them. And then a design team coordinator that I used to work with, well, you know, for another company, she's been working with the dewdrops people, and we kind of hooked up again. I'm like, oh, I remember dewdrops. Yes, let's play with dewdrops. So, got to start getting involved with them again. Got this one right here. And how about, need some more green, don't I? Greeny green. Let's see. Put a green one there. I think I need a third one over here to make me happy for the rule of 3. Could use some of these lighter brown ones. They would probably look okay because I got this, that didn't go on very well, beigey background. Let's add some of those. About there. itching to put one at the end of this leaf, but my title's gonna go there, so I can't. But I sure would like to. I mean, I could move the title, but I do want to at least follow the sketch in that regard and put it there. So I'm trying to behave. Behaving is difficult. I still feel like I want one more over there. Okay, how about this one? This one. Here. Ah, fell off. Excuse me. Got a cough. Okay, so I'm going to dump these back in. See, I just went to these stacking containers. And now if your Dewdrops bottle is full and brand new, you're only going to get one bottle in here. Because, I mean, those little bottles hold a lot. But, like, the brown and the green were each about half gone because I use them a lot. So, both my blues were about half gone because I use those a lot. So, I was able to mix them. All right. So, I think I am really happy with that. And all I need is a title. And where did my lid to my glue go again? Did it roll back under? I have this gold that I think is nice. I also have this black, which is a font that I just love. It kind of reminds me of Doodlebug. I think that might look better because it's more elegant, right? Dear Lizzie Thickers. So, let's see. M. Trying to figure out how I'm going to center this here. These are so pretty. O. H. There we go. Glue, stay over there, please. How do I want to place it? That way, actually right there, but I think I need that leaf out of there. That's okay. I am not afraid to alter anything. Except I have to take my glasses off to do so. Dun, dun, dun. So your little snippy snips. And it should be out of my way. Okay, but I gotta fix that. I don't know if you can see that sticking up right there. That's gotta come out. Ah, ha ha ha. Da, 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 da. Oh, my E shifted. No shifting. Sorry if my head's in there. It probably is, because I have wild hair. Okay, I don't want that on the black, so it needs to move over just ever so slightly. Okay, give them a press. Hope they stick. Voila. Ah. Now I could add the word finally. Finally home. Let's find us some matte gold sequins to add into our dewdrops here. Again, I didn't get my tidy tray out, so I'll just dump them in here. Let's see what we can find. That one matte. Ooh, yeah, okay. All right, this one. I'll just get this matte gold, shift it over so that there's some of it to go with our matte gold letters. And how about here? Another one. Yep. Right here. Oh, here comes Sam. You hear him? That's a shiny one. Don't want this shiny. Let's dump some more in the top there. There's another matte one. There. With a pink one attached to it. Static. Static on my sequins. Found another one. And Sam went outside to bark. See, I told you it was coming. Just took a little longer than I thought it would. Bark, bark, bark. Bark, bark, bark. Let's see. What's this little guy? I thought he was matte, then I thought he was shiny, and I'm just not sure. Let's see. There's another one. Green. Don't want green. I mean, I could add green, I guess, but it's not what I'm going for. How about another one? Ooh, here by the flowers. The little white flowers. The blue one fell out. And let's see. Another one? Yeah. I guess he got it all out of his system. I hear him coming back in. A little goober. I haven't made you guys look at a picture of him in a while. I should insert a picture. Maybe right about here. I don't know. I think that's enough. What do you think? I'm usually an over sequiner, but I'm pretty happy with the way this looks right now. Ah, crap. All right. Well, that's it for right now. Remember, be excellent to each other and go make something. Bye.